Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please, ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe. There's a link down there. You can click on it. Please, it helps. I'm going to talk today about a certain client of mine from the past, so I digress a little bit from the standard Tales from the Jails to talk about a charlatan that I managed for some time. His name was Derek Acorah. Derek Acorah, famous as the so-called medium on the TV series Most Haunted. I'll tell you a little story about how all this began, my association with Derek Acorah. Back in the 1990s, early 1990s, I was touring the UK number one theatre circuit with a psychic medium called James Byrne. He was a very nice guy and very honest, and he actually did what he said he would do. He communicated, and despite I know that there are many people out there who do not believe in the paranormal, the supernatural, ghosts, spirits, and communication with the world beyond, but absolutely James Byrne could do it. And at many of these venues, appearing out of the audience would be Derek Acorah. And he was pestering me to manage him. Now, at the time, I was extremely busy. I was doing things like the London Palladium, which I did. I did shows all over the UK, even in New Zealand and various parts of the world, TV shows, etc., with James Byrne. We did the James Whale TV show. We did a psychic experiment on there, which was written and directed by me. Believe it or not. I'll try and find a link. If I can find a link, I'll put it down there. Basically, Derek Acorah kept asking me to manage him, and at the time he was working as a backstreet psychic in Liverpool on Paradise Road, opposite the Liverpool radio station, Radio City. And I was on Radio City many times with James Byrne, and Pete Price was the host of the radio show. I believe he's still got a Sunday show over at Pete Price in Liverpool on Radio City. Yeah. So anyway, cut to the chase here. So eventually James Byrne decided he was going to retire, which he did. He stopped touring, and I was again approached by Derek Acorah, and as at the time I was available, I said, well, I'll come and see you. So I went to see him, and I was reasonably convinced that he was genuine, because he gave me information that was unknown to him, and he seemed to me to be a presentable individual, and so I agreed to work with him. And at the time I was doing radio shows with Radio Red Rose in Lancashire, and I had a comedy show on there called Professor Dr. Daddy Magumba PhD. I will put a link down below so you can see it. So on one of these shows I took Derek Acorah with me, and I said, come with me, I'll get you an interview on the radio, and you can watch me do my Daddy Magumba bit, which I think will be very instructive for you. So he came with me, and he was laughing so much because I pretended to be a witch doctor, you see. And it was comedy. It was definitely not trying to convince people that I was the genuine article. I did it deliberately, and it's not politically correct, let's be perfectly honest. But we're talking about the mid-1990s now. And Tony Newman was the host of the show, and it was on Radio Red Rose, and I'll put a link down below because I know where it is on YouTube. Have a look at that. And that is how Derek Acorah got the idea about possession, because during that program I pretended to be possessed by spirits from Africa and was mumbling and bumbling about Bermuda cards and my wishing stick. Quite funny. I thought it was funny anyway. It was meant to be funny, and it got rave reviews. But anyway, he was with me, and he was laughing at that so much. So then I decided to put shows on with him, and I put shows on throughout the UK with Derek Acorah, and did the Liverpool Empire, which is a number one theatre in the UK, seats about 2,000. I think we got about 1,500 in, which was pretty good, really. And I got him a show in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, because I had connections there due to the fact that I was widely published in America. And I got a deal with a company over there that was called the International Society for Paranormal Research, with a guy who called himself Dr. Larry Montz. So we did the Vogue Theatre on Hollywood Boulevard, and lots of celebrities came out to watch it. We did MSNBC, a ghost bust at the house that was previously belonging to Dean Martin. And it was big news. It was all over the network USA TV. And so he became famous. I wrote his book, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah, which you can see on Amazon. Don't just believe my words here. Go have a look. And that was at one point the number one best-selling book on Amazon. So it generated hundreds of thousands of sales internationally. And I arranged for him to get a TV series with Granada TV, which I scripted and sent in, and they put him on. And so off he went, and Derek Acorah became a big name. Unfortunately, Derek Acorah had absolutely limited moral fibre. He wasn't interested in the public or the people that he served, and that's the general public. And I was attempting to address this with him when he took great umbrage to this and said that he was going to go his own way, despite the fact that he was under written contract to me. We even made the 2 films that I directed, and these were funded by the International Society for Paranormal Research. You can see them on YouTube. It's The Ghosts of England, and the other one about a haunted museum in just outside Birmingham. So suddenly Derek Acorah was big news, and no sooner had I turned him from a backstreet psychic into an internationally recognised celebrity psychic medium, then he went his own sweet way. But I frequently said to him, you've got to respect your audience. You've got to give them, when you go on stage, it's no good just speaking to the first 2 rows, which is basically what he was doing. So you've got to get yourself all round the theatre. But the problem that Derek Acorah had, and this is the reason why he was such a fake, was that whilst he was psychic, now listen, believe this or not, we have all got psychic abilities, and we pick up information from other people. You often will have done it yourself, when you get flashes of what other people are thinking, or the telephone rings and you know instantly who it is. We have these little flashes. Well, if you develop it, over years, then it becomes second nature to you, and you can do it. And he'd got that. He had got that. He was psychic and very sensitive. But psychic powers and mediumship are 2 very different things. Mediumship is when you're receiving communication from the next dimension. And quite honestly, I never saw a great deal of evidence when he was performing that he was doing that. So when he got on to Most Haunted, because of his limitations, he had to cheat. and become basically a celebrity charlatan, which is what he was on Most Haunted. Have a look online, just type into YouTube Derek Acorah, and you'll see some of his most laughable attempts. At one point he was pretending to communicate with a so-called jailer in Bodmin jail, when he said that he was receiving communication from a South African jailer who worked at Bodmin jail called Creed Kafer. Of course, he was put up to this by the resident consultant on Most Haunted, who'd fed him the line. You see, Creed Kafer is an anagram for Derek Faker, and he managed to fake that very well. Well, he didn't do it very well because he was turned over and exposed as being the charlatan that he was. Have a look. He at one point was communicating with a highwayman, and he was saying to this lady, Dick, Mary loves Dick. Dick Turpin, I think it was, that he was supposed to be channeling, and he said, Mary loves Dick. I mean, come on. He'd obviously been put up to that. So once all this started to happen and he became extremely famous, he decided that he was going to break his contract with me and go elsewhere, which he did. Broke his contract with the publishers. He had a contract for a series of books that were going to be written by me, broke that contract, and generally behaved like the crook that he became. Mind you, he was by this time quite famous. He died in 1999, I believe. Yeah, he's been dead quite a while now, hasn't he? Anyway, he's been dead quite a while. 2000 anyway. He died after the just before the outbreak of this COVID thing, probably from COVID, although it wasn't diagnosed. But basically, that's what he was, a low-life crook and a charlatan. And as for him channeling these spirits, that was a complete fake, based on his experience of watching me perform as the imaginary comedy creation Professor Dr. Daddy Magumba, PhD. And I'll put the link down below. And do please like and subscribe and leave me some comments, if you will. And it's that time of day. I hope you've enjoyed. If you want any more on this, you tell me. Also, I'd like to welcome the Pastor Queen who's just joined us from Ohio in the USA. She's the half-sister of one of my friends out there, Lois J. Barine. So, welcome aboard, Pastor Queen. I'm now going to sing you that song. It's a song dinger, you know. I rang it. I'm going to give you one more warning. If you're still hanging around now, you're going to get it. So this is my interpretation of Old Man River, recorded by Paul Robeson, who did the stage show, by the way. Brilliant man, Paul Robeson. He was a barrister as well, you know. Wasn't just a singer, but he had the most incredible voice. So this is my version of Old Man River. Are you sitting comfortably? You won't be when this starts. Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plants 'em is soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bale, you gets a little drunk and you lands in jail. I gets weary and sick of trying, I'm tired of living and scared of dying, but old man River, he just keeps rolling along. Don't look up and don't look down, you don't make that the white boss frown. Bend your knees and bow your head and pull that rope until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi, let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan, that's the stream that I long to cross. Old man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. That was my version of Paul Robeson's Old Man River. This is Tales from the Jails, John G. Sutton.